Hey, let's go live with James speaking, trainingsites.io. I've been thinking really hard about a definition for a course, and I was wondering if you could help me out. A lot of times, the videos that I do or the titles that I do for this is a whole other thing, but it's like the death of a course or the end of a traditional course, and I'm trying really hard to not use the word course, but it's kind of the word that everyone expects when it comes to learning. And I think that that whole idea of what a traditional course was has changed, and I'm trying to figure out what to call it. I'm not quite sure. What do you think? Let me know what you think. A course, is it really a course? Should it be called a course? What is a course? Again, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to show you some of the research I did. I was asking all the AI tools, like, what is a course? I was checking in Wikipedia and any of the traditional ways of thinking of courses. And I'm not quite sure that there is a good definition for it yet. And that causes a lot of problems when all of us in the education space are talking about what it is that we actually do. And I'll give you an example of how this can cause problems. For me personally, if I go to any site right now that is in the education space, they're going to use the word course as a repository or a place for any of their educational content. And in the past, for me personally, if I go take a look at what I've done or what I've been struggling with, many people who do courses do something in a learning management software. There's some that are work in WordPress, which are the ones that I use. There's some that are standalone services for e-learning platforms. There's some that are e-learning platforms that are in another software as a service. There's a whole bunch of options there, but for all intents and purposes, they're all still called courses. But what is a real course? Where do you put these videos and these chunks of education that you're creating if they don't necessarily fit into a course? And I'll give you an example of how this can be a problem. And this is one for me, myself. Right now on my YouTube channel, I think I've got 560 videos, and they are all educational videos. If I go look at some of the other people in the education space who are in YouTube, they may have 200, they may have 500, they may have 600, they may have 1,000. There's a lot of people that may have 1,000, and these are all educational content. So if you're going to have some kind of LMS or way to teach people or archive what it is that you're doing, where do you put them and what do you call them? And for me personally, I've been struggling with, sometimes I call them courses, sometimes I call them tutorials, but what are they and where do we put them? And I don't think there's a good answer for that yet. And this is important because I'm going to go through some of the definitions, the current ones, and let's compare it to how you actually learn stuff now. I know when I first started out, it was all about a traditional course. And let me pull that one up just to give you an idea of what uh, traditional course is often referred to now. And I'm just going to open up, hopefully I've got one, yeah, here. So I was just looking at the word, and again, this is from Perplexity, just kind of going through that. And it was, what is a traditional course as applied to education? So they're talking about a structured learning experience that takes place in a physical classroom where teachers deliver instruction to students face-to-face following a fixed curriculum and schedule. Usually involves a set curriculum with standardized benchmarks, direct instruction by a teacher, regular assessments such as test assignments or measured student programs. So that sounds like a traditional educational institution, right? Um, for many of these, the teacher plays the primary role in delivering the content, managing discussions, and assessing learning outcomes while the students take a passive role. So, this is where we find kind of the traditional courses and even ones that you sell. What is it that you're actually selling? You're selling, in many cases, a series of video tutorials supplemented by text or additional resources. In many cases, it's set out in some kind of linear format where it's part of a process or a series of steps that people actually go through when they're doing that. But is that how people learn right now? Just think about what you do when you want to go and learn something, especially in the AI space. I know I've talked about this before, but for me, it's like I use an AI tool to ask a question that replaces search. I may go and look for something visually in YouTube, but I don't necessarily go looking for a particular course or a large structured piece of content. I may be sold that at some point by someone who I already know, like, and trust. But in terms of me learning something, I personally don't go looking for a course. Do you? And if that's the case, and I'm trying to learn something, a chunk of something, what can we call it? If I just say, oh yeah, that's a course, and I have, as an example, in my case here, let me just pull this one up. In my case here, just on this particular site in the training campus, some of these don't have graphics because they're admin only, they're not published. But on mine here, I think I've got 56 or 57 traditionally called courses that are here. I've also got the 500 or 600 video tutorials from YouTube. And this is all valuable content. So what do we call it? Where do we put it? I would love your feedback on that, to kind of share, what are you going to call it? What do you name it? Is course the right name for it? And then what does that actually look like? I'm really struggling with that personally. So if you can't come up with something, I would love to know about it and at least have a position where we can kind of talk about it. And, I was just kind of going through a little bit more, and I was asking Claude in this particular case. Actually, this was Gemini, and I'll show you this one here. Yeah. So how does AI change this definition? Okay, it's shifting it from a standardized one-size-fits-all unit of instruction to a dynamic, personalized, and adaptive learning experience. So personalized learning paths. It's not a curriculum of a number of courses in a logical sequence or a bundle. Adaptive content and pacing. So the course material is no longer static. When we created a traditional course, it was really about, here's the content that I made a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. It's not static anymore. It dynamically changes based on the difficulty level, the focus, and the type of presentation for the individual, not for a group of individuals as a whole that has to consume it, but it's for each individual person. The emphasis now is not on retention, but it's on skills and competency. And this is something that you see, for example, in terms of some of the other ways that people are doing assessments, but in the terms of use case studies, projects, group projects, being able to complete something to show proficiency in it, as opposed being able to know something and write a document or bring back some kind of assessment of it. And it's continuous. That's the other thing that, that I'm finding myself, is that I don't just learn something on a topic, then go, oh man, that's great, I'm finished. There's always something new to learn, and I don't know of any topic that there isn't something new to learn or something to stretch that is personal by that. And it's far more flexible now. I'm chunking stuff down as small that I can and allowing people put it together, at least get it ready to be put together. And what's happening for me personally, and I'm asking you, do you find yourself as the content creator or the course creator now? Are you creating courses or are you creating content? Are you actually being the expert at creating content, or are you being the expert at showing how to apply that content or how that content might be used in a particular topic? So these are the things I'm dealing with. I don't know what to call it. I would love for you to make some suggestions about it. The definition of what I call the traditional course, I think, has changed as a result of AI, and I have no idea what's actually going to happen. And from a marketing perspective, what we should even be considering a course anymore. So pay attention to trainingsites.io if you want to see kind of what I'm thinking of. If you have a better idea for the menus and the ways that this content can be organized, please let me know. Like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to watch some of the other 500 videos and go join trainingsites.io. I've made it all free, and it's there for you to learn how to start, build, and grow your education business. Take care and expect the best.